Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investors channel. My name is Sensei Crypto and today we're going to be doing the Sunday show. We're going to be looking at NVIDIA and then as per always, as per usual, every Sunday we look at charts, your requests, stocks, crypto and the broader market as well. So thank you all for tuning in. Please do hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be making a few videos during this live show as well, so it'll be great for you guys to participate and let me know what you want me to review. I see that DFJ Super Tubers is very keen to get some reviews done. They won't be long, but we will do them for you, DFJ. I see you're very keen, so thank you for suggesting your reviews. So let's get straight into it. As you said, you don't want them to be long because you want me to get through a few of them, so that's great. So let's get straight into this. Remember, everything I say during this video should not be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Even if I was, I wouldn't be able to give financial advice on YouTube. This is just my thoughts only and purely for educational purposes, discovering the art of charting, really. And when I say buy zones and sell zones, that's not areas where I believe you should buy or sell. It's just from looking at the chart and looking at the art of trading, what areas I believe there might be resistance and support. Remember, investments can go up as well as down. And I am not an expert, so this is just for fun. But thank you for all your requests, DFJ. Make sure you do your own research as well. Let's look at your first one, LTRX. LTRX, you said they just made a great play, which won a lot of invention of the year in the last quarter. So what is this company? This company is engaged in the provision of software as service, engineering services, and hardware for edge computing, the Internet of Things, and remote environmental management. Okay, so just looking at the stock, we are currently on the weekly time frame. Each candle represents a week. This has been trading since about 2000, it seems. It was caught up in the 2000 bubble, all-time highs of near $73. We haven't been anywhere close to that for a very long time now. Ever since the crash, it hasn't ever really recovered to those levels. However, it has been volatile. We've got a few levels in place, so let's start putting our horizontal support slash resistance lines in. That was a pivot point at 152. As you can see, all lows over there, it correlates with lows here, and it does correlate with a few lows, especially the 2020 lows there, so that is a potential support. We've got the all-time lows, which is something to take good consideration of, near 80 cents. Upwards resistance, we're looking at levels such as $6.45, as well as $4.75. Actually, let's turn this into a video, shall we not? Let's put the time for LTRX. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at ticker symbol LTRX, Lantronix. Okay, I've definitely pronounced that wrong, but we're looking at ticker symbol LTRX. It is a suggestion from one of our members. If you do have any suggestions and you're a member, join me every Sunday to give you my thoughts. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. It is for educational purposes only. We're looking at horizontal and resistance points to begin with. I've identified a few, such as the lows of 2002, which acted as support in 2008 and 2020. So every major crash, the 2008 crash, the dot-com crash, and the COVID crash, this was the area it came down to, so it's very important. We've got the all-time lows at around 70 cents. We've got upwards resistance sat around 645. We've got further horizontal resistance at $10. and above that we've got resistance at $14 and also at $17. We've got a downwards trend currently, which I've connected the dots basically on the downward sloping trend line, and on an upwards trend we do have a upwards trend with higher lows. We've got the all-time lows, higher lows of 2020, higher lows of 2024 back in April, where we bottomed out around $3.10. They have just won an Invention of the Year reward, so this is apparently a stock to be keeping an eye on. We are currently on the weekly time frame, so we can always, while we're here, do a Fibonacci retracement, which is a great tool. You can search up all about Fibonacci on YouTube, and you can understand why these numbers are important. The 23.6% has lined up exactly with the support / resistance at 475. So we know that is going to be a key area. It's always great to see the Fibonacci levels line up with horizontal support, because that gives me more clarification that this is an area of contestants, basically a resistance or support line. We've got areas which are close to my next level at 675. We've got the 50% retrace, which is worth taking note of at around $9. We've got the 786, which is also perfectly lining up with our next support resistance level at around $13.75. So we can always adjust that a little bit down. And then we've got our sort of long-term targets if this company continues to do well at levels of $27. So that's our Fibonacci, that's our long-term perspective. So now we can move on to the shorter term price action. We'll start moving over, just taking note while we're on the weekly time frame that the RSI and the MACD aren't giving us any indication of overboughtness or any overselling going on. So we can move on to shorter time frames. We can move on to the 3-day. As you can see, currently the trend we're in is an uptrend, because we've got higher lows. You've got the lows of 2016, then the COVID lows, and then the lows of last April. These are higher lows. More market participants are involved in the stock. More people are buying it. Less people are willing to sell. But at the same time, we do have lower highs. So people are taking profits at lower prices than before. So that's something else we need to keep an eye on. We look at today's price, which is at $3.59. We can move over to the daily time frame. Again, the 3-day on the indicators isn't giving us much. On the daily time frame, we're also not getting too much data. What I would say is there is a potential buy zone. Again, charting wise, not recommending anyone buys the stock. Is around areas of $3.10. So that's my first buy zone, around $3.10, $3.20. My next sell zone is at $4.75. So if I was personally holding this stock, I would have a limit order to buy at just above $3, and I have a limit order to sell just around the $4.50 mark if I wanted to continue my position, take some profits, or add to my position. I would have limit orders set up potentially if it comes all the way down to 150. I want to have money on the side in case there is a crash. I'd like to buy this at the best price possible. Obviously very unlikely, but if a crash was going to occur, I would like to have some money to buy over there. Looking at other levels, for example, if this stock trends down, something goes down to $3.10, it can bounce up very quickly and go to the $4.75. If it wants to continue the uptrend, what it would do, it was pass 475, come back for a retest, turn this resistance into support, and then we'll see ourselves move to the next level of resistance, which is $6.75. And then looking at a more long-term view of the stock, maybe over more months/years, what we'll be looking for to break out of this midterm downtrend ever since 2021. To break out of this, we would be looking to break $6.45, test this downward sloping resistance, retest $6.40, turn into support, and then gradually move up And once we break the highs of 2021, that is when we'll quickly accelerate up to $14, and we can even start looking at targets such as $17. So those are all my targets there. If you do enjoy this stock, let me know. Unfortunately, the levels we're at right now, there's no trade available, just those short-term buy and sell levels at 310 and 475. If you do enjoy the stock, let me know. There'll be other videos over here and over here for you to take a look at. We are live every Sunday and we do all your requests live in the show. So join us every Sunday. Join us during the week where Martyn, the owner of this channel, will also do fundamental reviews for you. And he's live every opening and closing bell trading days. So I look forward to seeing you, commenting down below, and in the next video. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. 10:50. We will be looking at NVIDIA later on in the show, but I want to quickly get through some more of DFJ's. Let's see why my mic is low. A few more of DFJ's requests. We do have a super chat, so that has to take precedent. Why has that not come through? Maybe I've turned my alerts off. Yes, I have. Cameron has given a super chat, so obviously if you give a super chat, you take precedent. CRM, Salesforce, interesting. Great stock, I believe. Let's do a review. CRM, time is 12:50. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at ticker symbol CRM, Salesforce. We've been requested to do a technical chart for this stock. Every Sunday we're live on this channel where I do your chart request. Everything I say during this video should not be taken as financial advice. It is just my opinions only and for educational purposes. Salesforce, what a great stock. When I see a stock like this, for example, let's go into the weekly chart, which means every candle represents a week. It is just constantly making new highs, constantly having higher lows, constantly growing, and it is something I like to see when I'm long-term investing in a stock. I like to see new highs being made. I don't like the trend is your friend, and remember the trend right now for this stock has always been growth. Look at it, grow. So if there's ever an opportunity, I'd like to buy a stock like this at the right price. Let's do some technical chart analysis. So we'll start off by horizontal line at the all-time high. As you can see, I always do at all-time high because there is normally resistance to that level. As you can see, it has been in February of 2024. We make significant lows and supports. I make a support line over there. Anything in between that seems relevant over there does. The high before the crash, before the all-time highs, and it acts as support a few times and resistance. So that's a good level to be indicated. I don't think we need to go any further down in the stock because it's very unlikely we see it could drop anywhere below 123. So we can focus on where we are in this range here. In this area, we can do a Fibonacci retracement from the highs to that low. We've got a few more levels to be indicated. One is over here at the 786, 50% retrace, and the 236. The other ones align with our positions already. So we can get rid of the Fibonacci. So this was a great buying opportunity when it hit all-time highs and came crashing down to $120. We have missed that, so where's the next best place to buy? You never know when the best place is to buy, so I normally adopt a strategy that works for me and probably doesn't work for you, which is I set up limit orders at specific areas to dollar cost average into a stock, not randomly, but at specific points where I think there's support. So my first area of support would be $218. Do I think it's quite likely to get there? Maybe. I think it might fall short of that. So I might, if I really want to get into it, $230, $228 will be my next area to buy. Then $218, 200 and just I think there's no point saying $197. There will be psychological support at $200. So that'll be my next buy zone. $170, I'll have my next buy zone. And if we're lucky enough, I'll be buying at $130 as well. I'll make sure I have enough money aside to be able to buy the stock at all these prices if it does go that low. I know most of the time I don't get all my limit orders set up, but the times I do, I tend to make a lot of money because it's in times where there's big crashes, recessions, and that's when most people make their money in the stock market. What areas will I be selling? Well, we have just hit resistance this week at $271. So we might hit a downtrend for a little while on the daily candles. We might actually manage to hit our buy zones of $230. On the shorter time frames, because we're looking at the daily candle, we have a small uptrend, so there might be a potential where it bounces a bit higher, $237, hits $271 again and starts moving sideways, accumulation. We have just closed that gap, so this stock, in my opinion, if it doesn't hold the uptrend, which is something going on like this, we're quite likely to see $200, $218. So I'm looking forward to hopefully picking up this stock at those levels. And then once I think most likely something like this will happen. Something like that, where we come down, grab some liquidity down here, hit $271, come back down, test its support, and then back to all-time highs. There's no reason this stock shouldn't go back to all-time highs. The earnings, they beat, so that's good. So yes, it's looking positive for Salesforce. There is potential areas to be able to buy the stock, $230 and $220. But this is a great stock, and thank you for asking to review it. The indicators on the daily aren't showing any oversold or any overbought, and neither on the longer time frames. But it's a great stock, a great growth stock, and it's definitely something on my watch list which I'd like to buy at lower prices. I would not be buying it at this specific price. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a thumbs up. If you own the stock, let me know in the comments section below and let me know your thoughts on this stock. There will be different playlists for you to click over here and over here. But do join me next Sunday where I will take your specific reviews, and join us during the week where the owner of this channel, Martyn Lucas, is live every day during the opening and closing bell every trading day, that is, and he can do your fundamental analysis on any stock. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. 1807. Any sorry to DFJ. Someone super chatting me $2 for one stock, so I'm unfortunate for you because you have requested so many with no super chat. The one with a super chat takes precedent. Of course it does, but hopefully we can get to the rest of your reviews, but we need to do a few others before we do. So let me just write down the time, 8:20 I think it was. We need to do NVIDIA. Hit the like button if you want to see NVIDIA. I'm sure a lot of you here are waiting for NVIDIA stock. There's 43 watching. If we get the likes up to, let's say, let me check how many people are watching. I'm on the wrong thing. 1 second. Why does my mic keep coming down in volume? Just need to get my software up. 48 viewers and only 41 likes. So I can't ask for too many more likes, but let's get into NVIDIA because it looks like everyone watching has already liked. So thank you for doing that. 44 likes. Brilliant. Let's have a quick look at your questions and then do NVIDIA, and DFJ, if we have time, we'll look at the other ones as well. DFJ, thank you for repeating. If you do give a super chat, of course, we can look at that straight away. Um, got a lot of suggestions. We have to do the important ones first. This video is about this live show is centered around NVIDIA, so let's do NVIDIA. I have for a change today, I have to leave exactly on the hour. So make sure to get your if you want to do a super chat, do that before. Otherwise, I will not be able to do any reviews after hour. Just getting NVIDIA stock up, and we'll look at some more of your reviews after we review NVIDIA. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at NVIDIA Corporation, ticker symbol NVDA. Very important week for NVIDIA. It's a week after the earnings, which we covered live. And what we're going to do is see how this is going to trend on the week after. The week of the review is important, the day of the review is important, but what's more important is the week after the review, in my opinion, just to see what the market, once it's digested all the information from the earnings, what's the trend going to be? Yes, it's volatile during the day of the earnings, and we trade that volatility. However, the week after will set up the trend for the stock. Is it going to start downtrending, going back to under $100, or are we on our way to all-time highs? Hit the like button to find out. If you do enjoy our analysis and coverage of NVIDIA, please do hit the like button. If you haven't already, please do subscribe as well. Leave your specific comments in the comment section below, and I'll answer every single one of your comments. But yes, let's get straight into it. What a week it has been for NVIDIA. What did I say before the earnings? I'll quickly touch on this, but obviously what's more important, what's going to happen next. Everything I say during this live video, I want to stress this because some people don't understand this, is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold this stock. I'm doing this for entertainment purposes. I'm doing this for educational purposes in terms of the charts. It's my opinions only, and I do not offer financial advice of specific stock buying. I never will on YouTube. So the stock is what happened, which I said, two options. There's always, you need to set up your limit orders for, well, I need to set, the way I trade is I set up limit orders for earnings. One is has at least two, one limit order to buy, one limit order to sell. You cannot predict the future, so we want to be prepared for every outcome. What did I do? We go onto the daily time frame. Just we covered it live on the show before the earnings. I had my limit order set up at $116. This has not changed. This is my scribbles from before the show showing you where I'm going to buy it and where I was going to sell it if it was going to go there, which I said is less likely, was $140. Our sell level didn't get hit, but our buy level did. Our next buy level was in this support area between $96 and $102. So we've hit our first buy zone. Where do I think it's going next? So this week is going to be important. The trend is your friend. What's the trend showing us? Unfortunately, what the trend is now showing us is we've had a high, the all-time high. We had a lower high. We did have a few lower highs, which resulted in me saying we're coming down to $100. Yes, we went below it, but we were very bullish after that. And in a matter of a week, we did actually end up making 38%. My stance is changing a little bit. We did break out of these lower highs. However, now we're putting in a more of a midterm lower high. This is a sort of a topping out structure. A lot of people selling, a lot of people getting liquidated. I think we might have lower to go. If we hold $117, this level specifically right here, where all these supports are converging, this will be a good sign. We can go all the way down to $113 and bounce back. If we don't see a bounce back, if we don't hold the levels we're at currently, then unfortunately it looks like the trend is still lower highs. This would end up being a lower high. And then we're going to go down to levels that we saw not too long ago, between $95 and $102. So our next limit order to buy the stock will be triggered. And what happens after will be even more important. A lot of people online are now saying um, AI bubble. I've heard this term a lot now, and this could put fear in investors' brains. It's all about emotions. Everyone, the media, YouTubers, not us, play with retail investors' emotions, and the larger traders will trade off that as well, getting you liquidated. So you need to be prepared for every outcome. Don't put in more than you can afford to lose. We might come to $100 and just hold this level. However, if the sentiment changes, what we don't want to see is coming down to $197 and then breaking this level. If we break $100 again, my prediction is we'll go down to levels between $70 and $75. And I have enough money to buy at levels like this. If I manage to create leave enough money on the side to buy at these levels, this is where I'm going to make most of my money, because I'm sure NVIDIA over the medium term will hit all-time highs again, but it depends how quickly. So I want to have enough money set aside. The trend is, we need to keep an eye on it. It is lower highs. So I just want to prepare you for that situation where it does continue going down. You need to prepare for every situation. In my opinion, we have to take it day by day, week by week. I'm just giving you an overview of what can happen. I give that a 30-40% likelihood that we come all the way down here, which is quite high in my opinion. Probably 25 to 30% that we come all the way down to 73%. But quite likely that we come down to 100, maybe a 50-60% chance, just because the trend is coming to the downside. For that not to happen, we need to hold $116 all the way to $113 this week. If we stay above these levels, it can be fine. We're not putting in lower lows. And then if we break $132 again, we can go to all-time highs. So if you're really bullish on this stock, keep an eye on this area here between $112 and $116. You don't want to break that. If you break that, it's quite likely that we're going to $100 based on the charts. If we hold this level, we can go straight up to all-time highs and continue higher. However, in my experience, the trend is putting in lower highs. What's more likely, if we don't hold this level, is come down to $100, bounce a little bit, everyone gets excited, and then it falls below $100, and then we can start looking at $70. So be very careful. Of course, I'm not going to say this is definitely going to happen. That's why I like to prepare for both situations, and that's why I give you my opinion on both scenarios. No one can predict the future. If anyone promises you they can predict the future, click away from their video. I offer both sides of it. I will tell you what I think is more likely to happen, but there's no point me saying this is going to happen. We're 100% going to all-time highs, or we're 100% going to break $100. I have to give you both scenarios. No one can predict the markets. We can have an edge. Right now, I'm looking at this long term. I don't care about trading this stock. I don't care how low it goes. I'll have limit orders set up at each place. I've bought the stock $116. The next place I want to buy is $102. The next place I want to buy personally is $91. The place after I want to buy is $75, and I'll have money to buy at each of those levels. And where do I want to sell? $140. I want to sell $172. Those are my sell levels. If I manage to buy some at $70, where's the next place I'll sell? $97. I'll take profits at each of these levels. If I buy lower, I'll take profit quicker. Not all my profit, but I'll take profit quicker. You just need to be prepared for every scenario. Don't be all in on leverage. In my opinion, it's not the right thing to do. It's very manipulated, this stock, and I don't like using that term. But bigger traders will flush you out with leverage, and then you end up losing. Just holding NVIDIA long term is one of the best companies in the world, $3 trillion market cap. It's a nice growth stock. So yes, I'm giving you both situations. We'll update you next week on the charts of this stock. But for now, if you want to continue the uptrend, just keep an eye out between $113 and $170. If we break that, we continue lower. If we hold this level, then what we want to do is make higher highs, which means breaking $130, $136, and then we'll be at all-time highs. If we break all-time highs, my next target is $172. If you did enjoy the update, if you have any specific questions, let me know in the comment section below. There'll be 2 videos up here and down here, maybe a playlist as well for you to have a look at. We've just got a super chat.
Rick McGrath donated $2 through a super chat. Let's go NVIDIA, 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 rock on gesture, cool face.
Thank you, Rick McGrath. Join us every Sunday where I will take your specific reviews. Join us during the week where the owner of this channel, Martyn Lucas, will be live during the opening bell and closing bell every trading day, and he can do a fundamental analysis for you. But until next time, take care of yourselves and eat.
Vaz donated £5 through a super chat. Lilium facing multiple headwinds recently, looking like a downward trend. Could we have a look, please? Appreciate the Sunday Sensei, flexed biceps, flexed biceps.
Vaz, thank you for the super chat. I did this. Let's see if it works. There we go, fireworks. Thank you for the super chat. I always do appreciate your support. And Rock McGrath, thank you for the super chat. Let's see if it works. Why is the fireworks not working? Now it looks silly. There we go. Thank you for the super chat. Let's go NVIDIA. Let's have a quick look at the Rick McGrath. My super chat's not going through. No, it's come through. Rick McGrath has come through. Baby, you're a firework, says Vaz. Cameron, thank you very much. My current job uses Salesforce, so that's why I learned about it. But I agree with you, yes. A lot of places do use it. It's great. I think that this will continue to mount up this week. Good luck, Florida boy. Okay, let's go. So we've just done NVIDIA. Rick McGrath loved it. Thank you for that. Let's do Vaz's reviews. Lilium. Let me just sort something out. Okay, so we have looked at Lilium. It's coming down to our buy level. Remember, we weren't very bullish on this. 57 cents. Could be a bit higher as well. Okay, let's do a video on it as well. Every chart we do a video on it as well. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at Lilium, ticker symbol LILM. I'm going to be looking at the stock. We have got requested to have a look at the stock during the Sunday show. So join me every Sunday where I can look at your specific stocks. But we're looking at Lilium, seeing where the next trade is. We have got a trade set up ready for you to see what I'm doing. Again, nothing I say during this video is financial advice. And it's just for educational and entertainment purposes only. When I say buy level, when I refer to you, this is not something that you should do. It is just my thoughts only. So Lilium has been in a downtrend. The person who super chatted is Vaz. Thank you for the super chat. It says Lilium facing multiple headwinds recently, looking like a downtrend. Could we have a look, please? Appreciate the Sunday Sensei. Thank you, Vaz. Yes, we will have a look at it. So it is in a downtrend. You're absolutely correct. Long term, it's in a massive downtrend. Short term, it's in a downtrend again. We have said we're looking for it to go down. This is from before we have our trade setups set up. So let me tell you what I think. I think we can have a reaction around 60 cents. Just below 60 cents, maybe 59 to 60 cents, where there's a possible trade. It could be two possible trades. One buying at 59 cents to sell at $1.09. Let me move that back. And then you can have another trade, which we won't look at now because we'll be back next week. If there's an opportunity, I'll show you. And the next trade could be something like buying at 33 cents. But right now, the first trade setup is buying around 60 cents, and then we have three targets. Selling at $101, first sell point, selling at $1.86, and selling at $2.19. We're coming up to a buy zone. We are very close to the buy zone now. RSI on the daily is oversold. The MACD is trending down, but the RSI is oversold. This on the daily, the RSI has been much further oversold in 2023. A few times. You can see down here the levels of oversold this stock has been quite extreme in the past, around 19, and we're currently sat at around 27. So I wouldn't be too excited that we're oversold and we're going straight up, because we have continued to go down before past these levels. If we look at the weekly time frame to give us a more of a long-term understanding of the stock is actually not in oversold territory. It's sat in no man's land around 36, and we have gone much lower at 22 and 18 on the RSI scale before. The MACD is continuing to trend down. The momentum is to the downside. So on the long term, it's definitely not looking like we're oversold. And on the 3-day time frame, the midterm, we're not looking oversold as well. On the monthly, just to have a quick look, we have always been oversold, but we're not even oversold on the monthly as well. So going back to the daily, we are oversold, but it looks like we're continuing to go down. My first buy level will be 60 cents. My first sell level will be 109. I'll definitely be keeping some money on the side to buy it at 35 cents as well if we were going to break through this support zone. So don't put in more than you can afford to lose. Don't use too much leverage, but it's very simple for the stock. Buy zone is coming up. Sell zone is at 110. I'll ladder out the sell as even I ladder out this profit taking. I also ladder in the buying. So my first buy 59, 60 cents. My next buy 35 cents. My first sell $1.09. My next sell $1.87. $2.20 is my personal next sell levels. We can look further in the future if this stock was ever going to fully turn around, and near $10 would be my target. But right now, we're looking to break the trend to downside. Right now, the trend is the downside, but it might bottom out soon. That's my full short analysis on Lilium. We have done different Lilium videos. If you look up over here and down here, you might see some Lilium content that you might like to see. But thank you for the request. Join us every Sunday where we do this show. Leave me your comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like button. Hit the like button. Don't leave a like button, hit the like button. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Amazing. 38.30. Sorry, Raz, it's so short, but it's very clear. Sometimes you just look at a stock and it's quite clear, and there's not too much you can do about it. Um, it's just I can't give you more analysis because it's very clear the specific sell and a buy and sell zones. The only thing I could mention is if it can do something like there could be a shorter term take profit as well. If it was going to come down to 59, it could quickly react, and then you can take profits at 80 cents as well, because that is support as well. So I just want to point that out as well. Okay, finally we've gone through the super chat ones. We've got about 10-15 minutes left before I have to go. Let's see what your comments are. How many likes do we get up to? Let's have a quick look. $55 likes, 34 watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And let's have a quick look at your comments. Let's see if I've missed anything. Joker for Life is here. Would be look DJF Super Tubers. I'm sorry we can't go through all of yours. I need to keep it fair. I need to do one of everyone before I can go back to you. What has SMCI? SMCI for Rick McGrath. SMCI 40, 45. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at CMCI, Super Microcomputer. What's going on with it? Is there a potential zone where it's going to bounce now? It has been in a downtrend for a while. Is this going to turn around? Let's get straight into it. Remember, everything I say during this video is not financial advice. It's my thoughts only and for entertainment purposes and educational purposes only. So this has been in a downtrend ever since its highs of 1,227 dollars, I believe. Yes, it is dollars. It's on the Nasdaq exchange. We had a first support level where it's done exactly as predicted. It would go, well, not as predicted, but exactly as expected. You break below a support, you test it as resistance, and you continue. This is the potential buy zone, but when it breaks below and it comes back up, this is the area to sell those shares at the exact same price or just a little bit less than you bought it. It's confirmation that the downtrend is continuing, and now we're going over to the next buy zone. This is a more definitely a stronger buy zone, and it's a bit larger. $300 to about $361 is the area I'll be picking up some more super microcomputer. Just be aware for the live viewers and people watching the video, when I say I'll be picking up more shares, the reason I say that, I don't actually hold some of these stocks that I talk about. I don't specifically have a limit order set up. It's just a way that I don't want anyone to buy because of me. I would just want to give my personal views, and it's what I would do if I wanted to buy the stock. I don't want anyone following me trading. I just want to put my opinions out there. Because people enjoy listening to my opinions. I just don't want people to get the wrong idea and think I'm giving any advice. I'm not. So that's what I don't actually own any super microcomputer, but if I did, I'd be buying more between $290 and $371. There's a nice big buy zone. You can split up your. I will split up my buys. You can split up your buys. Do whatever you like. At 369, 317, maybe a little bit in between, and then a little bit below as well at 229. So we're coming up to this big area where I might be splitting up my buys. Potential trades can also take place here as well, where you'll be looking to do something. Some people might be looking to do trades like this, where you enter around $300 at sort of psychological resistance and try and take it all the way back up to near 500. Have your stop loss set below that. That's how some traders, and that's how you can use charts as well. We can take a Fibonacci as well from these lows over here to the all-time highs, give us some extra levels. We are at the 786, so we might actually turn around here. This is a potential level where some traders like to buy at the 786, and that's where we are. So let's keep an eye out. Let's see. You're just exactly on that 786 level on the Fibonacci's. So if you continue to stay above this on a daily time frame, if this week you stay above this level, keep an eye out. If you have no daily candle closes below, then you can actually maybe head back up to $678, or you can make a new Fibonacci from these levels down to these levels, and then take your profits at somewhere like, you can make a vertical ray somewhere like at the 782. Lots of different ways to trade, and that's why I'm showing you for educational purposes a Fibonacci. Depending on your risk tolerance and your thoughts, you can trade it on the daily time frame, and that would be a daily time frame trade in my opinion, which would be something like that. not amazing risk to reward, but it's something some people might be interested in doing. But on the long term, where if we hold 470 $437, that's good. More likely in the long medium term will come down to $300, and that's where I believe I'll be picking some more up. If you did enjoy this, please do leave a thumbs up. If you want me to do a longer one, let me know in the comment section below. There'll be more videos over here and over here for you to have a look at. Please do leave a like on this video, and until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. 4520. Um, 20. Henry could say good evening all. Hi, Sensei, could you look at? Okay, we've got lots of reviews. Yes, let's have a quick look at that for you. Bavarian Nordic. Bavarian Nordic. No, that's not that one. BV. I think we've looked at this, haven't we? BV. It's OTC. It's OTC, but it's got a massive market cap, 3 billion. Interesting. Yeah, so we've broken this the resistance. You're next looking at $19. So it's looking good. Momentum's there. It's going sideways a bit. It was overbought. It's resetting its indicators, but it does look. Every time you've got above this level, you have shot up most of the time to $19. So if you want to play it safe, take a Fibonacci, and then you can take profits at $16.40. Let's quickly do a few more. My super chat's not going through. Rick McGuff, it had. Thank you very much for that. It is now. Where have you been at RW? Once enough. I was doing some renovation work, portfolio renovation, house renovation, car renovation. Home renovation, I didn't touch my portfolio anymore because I only have long-term stocks now. I buy it when there's a dip. RW, I love the approach. Fair enough, sounds like a solid plan. High lift. You want to have a quick look at lift? Let's have a look at lift. Let's have just a quick look at lift. Nothing interesting at all on lift actually. I'll be trying to buy this at all-time lows, to be honest, $8. There's no reason why it won't go to all-time lows. It just doesn't look great in a trading perspective. Yes, we've got a CME gap, so I'll definitely sell all my shares at $30. I'd have a limit order set up in case there's a crazy day for whatever reason. But you know, solid downtrend. Once you break this trend line, you might have a little pop to the upside, and then you can just as an example, because you're in a downtrend, but that downtrend is going to change at some point. So no. Just as an example, there can be a trade to the 786. Once you break this downwards trend line and try and get out of it at $18, that'll be my first take profit zone. My next buy zone will be $8. And also $9 can be another buy zone. That's it for lift. Doesn't look amazing. Is Lilium a Reddit stock, Gorilla Technology, and Info if you have time, and Ion. Okay, let's have a quick look at Gorilla Technology. The FJ is very keen. Gorilla. Now what I can do is I can just create a video where I do a few of these stocks. TFJ, I love your persistence. You keep putting it in the chat. Agree, Roman. I realized recently that a 2-3% trade is a good trade, not chasing massive spikes anymore, just focusing on my stocks, knowing that they move day by day, knowing the right rally from. Yes, that's great to take away, but just remember one thing that can also go wrong, just keeping them at the back of your head, is you realize that 2-3% is a good trade. So you might do 5-10 great 2-3% trades, but then your emotions get out of hand and just you will chase a stock down as well. So those 2-3% trades that took a lot of hard work for you to do 10 times, you might lose that all in one bad trade. So sometimes the better strategy is actually looking for the better ones. Lose 8 times, win 2 times, but the 2 times you win, you actually make 100%, 200%. I'm not saying that's the better way of doing it, and I'm not giving advice, but I'm just saying remember that there's risks to both types of trading. Trying to make 2-3% every time, you can get wiped out in one of your trades. But at the same time, that it might actually be better. It's the same. It is effectively the same as getting 8 of your trades wrong and then making 50-40% on one trade. So it sounds better, but it involves the same amount of risk, in my opinion. Again, not advice, but just a different way of looking at it. What is better to do, in my opinion, is if you've had bad experience trading, just stop trading. Just start doing what Martyn does, DCA into top quality stocks. Focus on something else, make money different ways, and then just buy up the stock market. Or instead of doing that, finding some. I think you like specific companies, so you put most of your money in solid companies, and then take the risk on smaller companies. Buy some SBC, buy some other stocks that you like to suggest that are really low market cap, and don't trade them too much unless you make a lot of money one day. Then you can just sell them, and just DCA into all those stocks at the same time, and just hold everything long term. But yeah, again, I don't know your personal circumstance. I'm not giving advice. I'm just giving different options that have maybe worked for me. We're gonna do another one. Oh, Raz has given a super chat. Oh, I like this question. We haven't got any questions like this before. Thank you, Vaz. Sorry, DFJ Super Troopers. If you gave a super chat, I'll do yours right away. But we've got another. I was about to do yours. Maybe we have time after, but we have to focus on Vaz because he's giving us £10 today, which is amazing. Thank you, Vaz. These are all the links coming through on the chat. Is from Martyn Lucas Investor, the owner of the channel. I'm sure everyone is familiar. To become a member, where I can do reviews. Obviously, I might not have time to ever do every single one of your reviews, but I think I've done one of everyone's that has requested today. You can find them there. That's just one of the tiny perks you get. You get 100 different perks, or it feels like 100. On an iPhone, select browser, then desktop version. If you're on an iPhone, then you click that link and you can go through the desktop version. It won't let you do it on YouTube. Alpha Spread is there. Tune into Martyn's music channel, The
Vaz
World Piano
donated
Man.
£4.99 through a super chat. Apart from Fibonacci and resistance levels, are there any other indicators that can tell you where a trend can break?
We will look at that, Vaz. All the links for Martyn and the extra channel live now. Okay, I don't think it's actually live now, but I understand that's the extra channel. Let's double check that. 90% sure it's not. Yeah. Why would it be? Yes, every weekday that is live running. Fair enough, Sensei. I definitely think about what you said. I follow a few stocks and I follow these inside out rather than hunting for random moonbags. Yeah, I know. I mean, I've seen some of the stocks and half the time they obviously you can tell they're high risk because they've been at much higher points before and it's not making high highs, but they can definitely make a lot of money. Where I mean, just as an example, let's just say it's a great idea. Don't know if this company's going to survive. The stock looks something like this. SVC as an example, amazing before, and it just feels like it's a dying stock, and you keep losing money. But you still believe in it. most of your money is in the S&P 500, Apple, Google, Microsoft, maybe smaller market caps, maybe let's just have a look. Maybe you're really interested in Uber or Coinbase. They're bigger businesses that are much less likely to go bankrupt. You hold Pfizer, J&J. Most of your money is in sort of stuff like that. Instead of taking the risk on by trading, which is very hard to keep up to date with, um, and what I mean by trading is like day-to-day trading. Let's say you really like SBC. The way I've been trading SBC is I, I'm not there for the daily trading. I don't want to be liquidated. Instead of trading just in a stocks and shares ISA or whatever, not financial advice. I'm just giving you what I'm doing. What I do is I go into my stocks and shares ISA. I want to own SBC, but I can see that the trend is all the way down, which might be similar to other stocks that the trend is just terrible, but it might be a good company. I look at these levels where I look on a chart, whether it's Fibonacci or support zone from before, and I do limit orders at specific levels where I think it's a good area to buy. I mean, let's look at, I haven't changed these levels. I put this limit order here to buy at $5.50. I own some SBC shares, but when it trades, I buy it at $14. I like to sell it if it makes significant amount of money, and I might not sell all my shares because I really believe in the stock, and one day I might do really well. But I sell most of my shares because I've made 100% in a week, or I've made 100% in 2 weeks. And then I put my limit orders again, exactly the same amount of money. I put my limit orders again to either buy at the same low or to buy at lower lows. Most recently, I put my I hadn't been buying this whole way down. If you look at previous videos on this channel, you can see my $5.50 level. So then I put limit orders to buy at $5.50, not to trade and not to do it on leverage, just to buy more at $5.50. And then I've got limit orders. As soon as I put my limit order to buy there and it goes through, I then have my limit orders to sell, and I ladder out of the sale. I buy at I sell at $7.77, I sell at $8.88, and then most of my profits will be taken at $10 if we do get there. And every time I do that, I end up accumulating more shares. I'm not an idiot because I'm not looking for 2%. As in, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying anyone's an idiot. Everyone has their own perspective, but I'm not an idiot waiting for 87% in a week. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, that's not what I'm expecting. But if it does happen, then I like to take my profits. The strategy you were talking about was maybe just taking 2 or 3% and being happy with it. You might take 2 or 3% off every trade, and then one trade will ruin all those profits, and then you're not even in the stock long term. It might crash, and then the next week, be all the way up, and then you could be really annoyed at yourself because you lost all your money, you got liquidated, you sold your position, you wiped out all your profits for the year or the month, and you don't even hold the stock, and now it's skyrocketed. So every time I trade out, I keep some on the side. I accumulate more shares because I really like the company, and I don't even have to trade it. I might just keep buying at lower levels. Of course, if it goes up 50, 60, 70% a week, then I might want to sell, and especially if I'm in profit. And then it just makes up the lower risk end of my long-term portfolio. Those are the ones I keep an eye on. On the bigger ones, such as Google, Microsoft, I might have buy and sell levels set up at all-time highs or at crash zones. But I keep a bigger eye on my more risky stocks. Again, I didn't do a great job of explaining that. Again, it's not advice, but it just gives you a different perspective. I can do a whole 30 minutes conversation about that, but we don't have time. Let's have a look at your question, which was, apart from Fibonacci resistance level, are there any other indicators that you can tell where a trend can break? Well, the thing about a trend is Fibonacci won't tell you so much about a trend. What should we look at for a trend? What's in a nice trend? Do a simple one. Is J&J in a trend? Not really. Should just look at SBC. I think we spent too much time on SBC. Let's look at Tesla. Wonder if I move stuff. No, I can't look at Tesla, otherwise I have to ruin my whole chart. Wrap. I'm just trying to find the stock. I mean, let me look at one of your requests. What was your last request? Baz. What was your request today? Lilium. Let's just have a look at Lilium. Okay, let's remove all drawings. We've just done a video, so it doesn't matter. So what do I look for a trend to change? Is it just what do you say? Is it just Fibonacci and resistance levels? So and just Fibonacci and are there any other indicators that I can tell? So what a trend really is there's two trends: an uptrend, a downtrend, sometimes a sideways trend, but there's never really a proper sideways trend. A trend could be in a long term. So obviously the since inception, this trend has been for Lilium has been to the downside, and the way you can see that is basically what a trend is the way it's moving, and a downtrend is when there's lower highs. So every single one of these highs is lower than the previous one. Yes, there might be there might be a small higher high here compared to here. Actually, that one's just the same high, but there can be. But if you're looking at really long term, just looking at the stock, there's just lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then along with that, obviously you have lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, and on the long term, the trend is down. Um, so that's the way you can tell if something's in a downtrend. And let's remove all of that, and then that's on the long term. We can start. And you could have done that on the weekly to have a better view. But let's go back to daily. Let's go to the midterm trend. So let's ignore the beginning of the stock. Let's take it from somewhere like this. What's the trend on the medium term? Let's talking from 2022. The trend is down. Why? Because you've got your high, then you made lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. However, in the more short, medium term, you've got higher lows, higher lows, higher lows currently. So the trend can be changing. You've got a different trade setup going on when it's lower highs but higher lows. So you are trending down. However, the lows are trending up. So it's more of the structure where where the trend can change. So the trend can change because you've got lower highs and lower lows. So that's now it's not as clear that it's the trend to downside. So how do we identify if the trend is going to change? So if you've got a structure like this is just a falling wedge. It's not perfect, but let's imagine it was perfect. It doesn't matter. It's still a falling wedge. There's lower highs and then higher lows. So you've got a falling wedge. First thing you need to look at is how are you coming into this falling wedge? From a downtrend. So normally if you have a downtrend, then a structure like this, you're going to continue down. You've got a structure like this, you're coming in it like this, and then you don't know what the trend is going to be because you've got lower highs and higher lows. And then it's a trade setup. It's more likely it's going to continue going down because you came into the trend down. And these are what all these charting things are. The question is very hard to explain in the time we have because every single chart setup is going to be a little bit different. And each of these chart setups, whether it's a cup and handle structure, whether it's a parallel channel, they're all about trends and what's likely to happen coming out of the trend. But for example, this one, you're more likely to go down, and when you break the trend is when you break this lower part, which you have. So the trend is probably going to come down, and then you have different support lines. So the trend has come out of this triangle, as you can see. There's this triangle here, and you've broken down to your trend is probably going to continue to the downside. However, at one point, let's just look at another stock like Salesforce, which is completely different. The trend is to the upside. You keep creating higher lows, higher highs, And this is actually a higher high, a little bit higher, same high, a little bit higher, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. It's been a great uptrend. What would I look for this trend to change? If Salesforce was there's so many ways that a trend can change. If the Salesforce was at $128, the trend hasn't changed because it's still at the same lows. It might be higher. These are higher lows. The trend will change when you break $130 and you come down, and then that's the trend changing, and then you're in a downwards trend. You've never gone into a downwards trend. There might be shorter term downwards trend, and what would that be? If you're trading more on a monthly basis, what's the shorter term downwards trend, and how the easiest way to tell if a trend is changing is you have this downtrend here, for example, in 2022, and you just draw a line. You just draw a line of sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it isn't. When it breaks the trend to the downside, when it breaks, so lower high, lower high, lower high, when it breaks this, you're normally going to continue upwards. This one was sort of a failed one. It came up and then it continued down. So then you had your uptrend. I'll show you in a very, very easy way. This is the easiest way to do it, and it works like 80% of the time. Try and follow along. It's very simple. Trend line, you take it, you just drop it on, whether it's something like that. You can take it very small points. You see the trend here, it's just down. When it breaks this trend, you're bullish, and then you've instead of a downwards trend, you've got an upwards trend. When you break this trend, you're bearish. The trend has changed to the downside. Then you have a different trend. Trend is downwards. Once you break the trend to the downside, then your trend changes to the upside. Once you break the upwards trend, and this can happen on any time frame. This is on a very small time frame, the daily. Your trend is down. Once that trend is broken, you can see it moves back up. Then you've got a trend to the upside. You can do this on a daily timer, on a 4 hour time frame. You zoom out a bit, and you don't do it like on every day. Let's just say it's like that, and then you've got the upwards trend, which was something like this. Upwards trend, you break the upwards trend, you're moving down. Then you've got the downwards trend, something like this. And then every time, if you do this, at some point it will be a major trend change, and that's where we are here. This was a downwards trend, the trend changed, and then you're in an upwards trend. And then if you change, basically you enter the trade at this point here. And then you're in an upwards trend, and then sometimes you get really good ones where you can check all of these percentages. Over here, to when you exit the trade, you've made 9%. On the downwards, you've entered a short. You've made, before the trend changes, you made 25%. You've made it go up. You've made 20% on the trend down. On a short, you've made, before you have to exit your short, you've made 21%. And on this one here, you make a lot of money because the trend is, you identify the trend has changed, and then you'd get out over there. You've made 50%. And this is the easiest way to take it to see if a trend has changed. Just trends. That, I hope you understand what I'm saying. It can get a little bit complicated, but it's so simple. If you just look at, I don't know, Apple, I don't know, anything, you can do it on the longer time frame, which is, these are all trade setups, trends changing, or you can do it. Let's just say you want to do it on a really long term. No, but Apple keeps going up, so you don't have many. Okay, let's just say Apple. Let me do one more example. The trend is the upside. So you just have a trend. Trend is the upside. You just continue going up. You're following the trend. The trend isn't breaking, and then it breaks. At that point, you're sort of bearish. And then you've got a trend to downside. The trend to the point it breaks, the trend to the upside breaks is over here. You can see the point that it breaks over here. Then you have this new trend line where you're just following the highs that we've been talking about, the lower highs. You just draw a trend line from that high to that high. You continue going, and then when that breaks, you're bullish. And then you have to create your next trend line. And it could be when you put your first point, your second point, something like that. It's not always perfect. And then you've got your next trend to the upside. And then you're breaking the trend to the upside, you come down. I mean, it's I feel like I'm saying this and it's just not making sense. And I'm giving you bad examples. But if you're trending up, it just means you're making higher lows, and you can try and identify that in many different ways. And if you're trending down, you're making lower highs and lower lows. And every time you break that trend, the trend is changing, and that trend can be broken on the 4-hour time frame, the daily time frame. This was on the weekly, so of course it's more volatile. I mean, just look. I mean, the basic example is the S&P 500. What I've been showing you throughout the year, which is this parallel channel. It's a trend. It's a trend to the upside. I think it's best explained on the S&P 500. The S&P 500 in 2021 started a downwards trend, and we started following the downwards trend over here on August 2022 once the points connected. This was a massive bull run of 2020. Then the downwards trend was made. Why was there a downwards trend? Because there was the all-time highs, then we made a low which was lower than this low over here. Then we made a lower high which was lower than the all-time high. Then we made a lower low which was lower than this low over here. Then we made a lower high. So this was a downwards trend. The trend has changed. You need to see, the trend changed over here when you made these lows that were lower than this low over here. So you knew the trend was changing, and then you need to identify the trend, create a trend line, and then what we were trying to do is identify when the bull market was back to start again. And then you had these bottoming out structures. This main green line here is that trend line that I've been talking about. It's the downwards trend line. Once you break that trend line, you're changing the trend. You're more likely to create new highs that will make higher highs. So that's that downward trend line I was talking about. And then the upwards trend can be something like what we are in the S&P. This parallel channel here is showing that we're making higher lows and higher highs. The trend is to the upside, and we just continue following it. Right now we're deviating to the upside, so it's more overbought in the trend, but the trend is continuing up. When would I be concerned on the S&P 500? When I'll be concerned? Oh, I'm a little bit concerned now because it's above the trend, so it might deviate back down to inside the parallel channel. But when would I think the trend is changing? When we take out this low here, as you can see, we just continue making higher lows. Once this low is taken out, this is the heart line of the parallel channel. That's just another trend line to the upside. Once that's taken out, then I'll be concerned, are we going to put in a higher high? If we don't put in a higher high, then the trend starts changing. So everything is about the trend. Every pattern is based on the trend. And this is the best way to look at it, the S&P 500. Big trend line to downside. We broke that big trend line. We created a higher trend line. Then we were focusing on that trend line to the downside. Once we broke that, the bear market was finished, and then we created a new trend to the upside. You can look at it in so many different ways. You look at gold, and then there's a different structure. There's a cup and handle structure that's making new highs. Just as simple as, oh, when should I buy gold? Let me just draw a line like that. Oh, okay, it's broken the downwards trend. Now I'm going to be bullish on gold until we have a significant break of structure. Then you make an upwards line like that. When should I sell gold? Oh, when we start breaking this structure. Obviously never as simple as that, but it just gives you an idea of a trend, a lower high, higher lows, which is what it's all about. I've definitely gone over time, and I've probably confused even more Vaz. I'll try and explain that as we go forward. Markets closed on Monday, Stephen. Yes, it is. Fair enough, Sensei. I'll have a think about what you said. Only for a few stocks. Hi, Sensei. Can you look at SMH? We've finished the show, but I'll have a quick look. Looking great. Look at that trend. Trend is the upside. Low highs. Sorry, higher lows, higher highs. Probably getting to all-time highs soon. That's all I can say about that stock. But also, what's the market cap? 22 billion. Okay, no, it looks great for a growth stock. Sorry, I wasn't showing on the screen. There it is. That's the stock that was requested. SBC, what's that? A Reddit stock. Why is my volume down? Why do you think INQ is a buy, Mark? A good area to buy SBC is to wait till the reverse split, says Rick. When can we have the 30-minute conversation? It's very interesting to listen to you. Thank you, Vaz. Sometimes when I try and explain something quickly, it's not as great, but I feel like watching every Sunday, you'll slowly understand what I mean. It's a bit expensive for now, like Martyn's always said, but it will grow into the valuation next earnings call. They will be announcing an application for quantum computer, which is really big. DFJ Super Tubes, I'm so sorry we couldn't go through more of your requests. Hopefully we can next week, and if you do a super chat, we'll definitely be able to do it. It is a swing trade. If it's a buy, what are we looking at? IonQ. Hey Sensei, can you do an analysis? Marcus Kloster, sorry you're late to the party. We started about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Next time, hopefully we can have a look at that for you. Interesting, I'll keep asking, would it be worthwhile to make a special about trends to go into deeper into it? Yes, it can, but unfortunately, because I'm only here an hour a week, or an hour and a half, 2 hours a week, less people are interested about it, so we have to do what the members want. But as I'll keep integrating it into the Sunday shows. If you want more technical, definitely have a look at it. And of course, if you request it, we can have a look at it. Market's closed on Monday. Thank you, Stephen. Yes, it is. Thanks for that. Hopefully, we'll have more time anytime later. Yes, of course. I hope so too. Yes, I hope so. Thank you, Baz, for the request there. Thank you, Sensei, for the live show. Just remember. I mean, Baz, this information's out there. I mean, a lot of people would charge you money for it. A lot of people would do it for free. A lot of people overcomplicate it. But you can find the information out there. I mean, if you just, I don't know. I've obviously learned it from somewhere, and I haven't paid anyone to learn it. I mean, it's a lot of experience, just identifying trends, but it's also really simple, and the simpler you keep it, the easier it is. But next Sunday, when we go through charts, I'll do them start to finish, and I'll focus on trends for you. So when you do a chart request, or if anyone does a chart request, and we haven't looked at it before, then I can start the chart request from scratch, and you can see exactly how I identify trends, which is what we do most Sundays anyway. So I'm sure you're picking up on it anyway. Thank you for the live show, Sensei. It's much appreciated. Thank you, James, for popping in. Thank you so much. So, hi, Sensei. Your analysis is always very good and helpful. Thank you. Can you please talk about SBC, please? We have had a look at SBC. So if you go onto the channel, I think my playlist is linked below this video. If you go onto that, I think my last SBC video might have been 3 weeks ago. However, it's still completely valid. Nothing much has changed. I am bullish on it at this moment in time. If I become a gold member, can I have a one-on-one with Sensei as well? But I'm sure we can set something up. But I mean, it's up to you. I can't guarantee that. But just next Sunday, we can look at each chart. You can request some charts, so when people request charts, we can have a look at them specifically. But it's just, I mean, just looking at something like this, Rocket Lab, why is the trend changing? Well, you just have a trend line showing you lower highs. Once that changes, you've got support below as well. Okay, might be a time that the trend is going to change. Why? Because you've got this trend line to the downside. You've got the support below. As soon as this trend changes, which is this trend line down here, then that's sort of an entry point into the trade, and that's why that was the support there, and that's why we've been pretty bullish on the Rocket Lab. It has had a bad week actually, and what's happened is support here, trend line here, trend line gets broken over here, sort of a buy zone in both regards, because the trend line's here, the buy zone's right there as well. You've broken the buy zone. What do you want to see happen next? Is the last high. You don't want to create a lower high, so you want to break this resistance here. And why is that resistance? It's because there's a last high there. So then you break that resistance point here. Just to make it simpler, let me make this bigger for you. The last high was here. You've already broken the trend. What do you want to see next? You've broken the trend line, but you haven't broken the last high. Then you want to see breaking the last high, which is what we saw on Rocket Lab, and that's why it continued to go higher. What did you want to see next? It break this level here between $7 and $8, which you haven't. It's been a resistance point. That's why it's a resistance point, because it can be as far as it goes. If it breaks the next level, then you've completely broken the trend, and then you're looking at the next area. longer term to break the trend. So I'm sure you'll learn throughout watching these. It is all basically about trend, but also where the trend can change and where it's more likely to change. Um, but until next time, that is it for today. Thank you for all for tuning in. It's always a great pleasure being here, and I'm always happy to see the numbers growing and the numbers staying steady. 33 people watching, 50. Let's see exactly how many likes. 60 likes, 33 people watching. It always means a lot that basically got a whole full classroom of people watching, which is always great to know. And I appreciate that you all care about my thoughts. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye.